Hey everyone, it's Analytical Chick.
Oh, well, people need to be awake and they need to be aware and they need to stand up against the sun.
So today I want to cover the concept of jurisdiction, and it's something I took one law class in college. I did very well, but I only took one class, and I'll ask, hopefully shoot this email out to an email of this video out to Laurel and ask her to also do a video on it. But it's an interesting concept, the concept of jurisdiction, and the reason why I felt like doing a video on this was, in case you're not aware, Michelle Malkin was warned by Twitter. She was told to lawyer up. Yeah, seriously, because of Pakistan. So we have here, alright, here's what they wrote her. Hello, we are writing to inform you that Twitter has received official correspondence regarding your Twitter account at Michelle Malkin. The correspondence claims that the following content is in violation of Pakistan law. And that's the tweet. I managed to pull up the tweet. Here's the tweet. Muhammad cartoons and other riot-inducing images. Cartoon jihad. Oh, look, it's still up. So, married children. Oh, somebody else added this in. Includes the infamous starring Aisha. And I don't know if you knew this, but it literally says, not in the Quran. The Quran says, follow Muhammad's life to a T, and then I don't do this like regularly. I don't do a lot with Islam, but I do know a little bit about it. What can I think of it? It's in my first video. There's 3 sections. So there's the hadiths, and then there's the other section. So whatever section isn't the hadith, I don't even have the original graphics because they're on. Everything was moved to an external drive, which I don't have plugged in. But everything that isn't the hadiths, I'll look it up and put it in the description. It's not that important. Is like the commentary on Muhammad's life, and it says to live by Muhammad's life. So in those commentaries, it talks about it talks about so Aisha, actually, one of the things was it actually said she was like playing with dolls when he married her. He married her when she was 6, and he did something called thighed her. It's like mufathaka water or something like that. He thighed her until she turned 9 because it would have been cruel to rape her before she turned 9. But at 9, she was old enough to be raped. So thighing basically means rubbing your junk up on her thigh. Thus the term thighing. Good memes on this tweet here. So anyway, I wanted to cover, because of this letter that she received, the concept of jurisdiction. And even though I'm not a lawyer, I do know about the concept because I covered it when I took one law class. But let's read the rest of the tweet. Twitter has not taken any action on the reported content at this time. We're only informing you that the content posted to your account has been mentioned in a complaint. Yeah, and I remember one time. Oh, okay. This notice is not legal advice. You may wish to consult legal counsel about this matter. If you believe we've contacted you in error, please let us know by replying this email. Oh, she should have replied and said, yes, you contacted me in error. I don't fall under Pakistan's jurisdiction. For general information on legal requests, please refer to the following help center. So, let's just go with this definition of the official power to make legal decisions and judgment. To the extent of power to make legal decisions and judgment, a system of law courts and judicature. Excuse me. I think I got it. But the idea is basically, so like, if I break the law here in New York City, California has no jurisdiction over me. California cannot go and, like, put me in their jails for violating their laws. So, like, Europe has this crazy Article 13 law that, you know, you can't post Pepe the Frog and other memes because it might be, like, copyright infringement or some other backdoor way of going after, it's not older conservatives, but the young conservatives and the young, like, people who like to buck the system by posting these, like, memey, and these aren't even, like, political people, they're just people who like to buck the system. I mean, it's like Paul Joseph Watson says, conservatism is the new counterculture. It really is. So, yeah. So, if you live in the United States, Pakistan has no jurisdiction over you. But anyway, the story that I wanted to tell when I was starting to read this, and I wanted to finish reading this, when I went back to college, I was in my 30s, and I went back to college, and the very first semester I was in school, I had kind of heard about this, like, everyone gets a trophy kind of snoop leaky culture, but I wasn't really interacting with it too much. I mean, occasionally I would run into people who were, like, anal and uptight, so on and so forth, but for the most part I didn't really run into it because I wasn't in school. So I went back to college, and I was in my early 30s, and I was in a business class, and I forget what we were saying, but I made some comment that, like, it bordered on, like, it was like racial observations, and I think I even said, like, oh, there are exceptions, but da-da-da-da-da. This girl comes up to me after class, and she's like, I just want you to know that I was offended by your comments, and I just, like, kind of looked at her, and I was like, okay, like, and I remember thinking to myself, like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, you know, I don't owe you anything. Like, she had no jurisdiction over me. Like, she was just another student in class. Like, she was basically trying to, like, tell me I couldn't say something because it offended her, but she was just another student. Like, she wasn't the professor. The professor kind of watched. I think she wanted to stick up for me, the professor, but, like, she didn't. She didn't say anything for either side. But, yeah. So that's the idea of jurisdiction. The idea of jurisdiction is, like, if I break a law in some other country or some other state, you know, I mean, can you imagine, like, when I was growing up, if you were in the back seat, in Canada, you had to wear your seatbelt, but in New York State, you didn't have to wear your seatbelt. They changed the law when I was older. I'm, like, dating myself. When I was a little bit older, they changed the law, and now you had to wear your seatbelt in the U.S., in New York State at least. So, when we would cross the border to Canada, it would always be like, okay, buckle up, buckle up. Now, can you imagine if a Canadian cop had come into New York State, come into the United States, come into New York State, and started pulling people over and making sure their kids were wearing a seatbelt and trying to give them a ticket if their kids weren't wearing a seatbelt when it wasn't New York State law and we were inside New York State? That's jurisdiction, ladies and gentlemen. That's jurisdiction. So, I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to talk about, and I also wanted to highlight the thing with Michelle Malkin. So, thanks for stopping by my channel. Don't forget to share. Make sure you share, like, comment a lot. Tell me what you think of this. I mean, do you think Pakistan has the right to tell an American what they can and can't say? I know I don't think so. But do you think that, like, we should all have to follow everyone else's law? And what if those laws conflict? Like, come on, let's talk, let's comment. Lots of comments, more comments. Share my video, tell other people, what do you think? And try to get them to comment on the video. Thanks.
Oh, well, people need to be awake and they need to be awake and they need to be aware. Stand up against the sun. Oh, well. People need to be awake. People need to be awake. They need to be aware. They need to stand up against this stuff.
Oh, well, and it's so politically engaged.
And it's so politically engaged.